everyone, welcome back to my second video following on from my pre-op shopping list and tips and how to prepare for surgery. So today, as you can see by the title, we are going to be talking about post-op and what happens after your operation, how to get through the recovery, what to expect, things like that, little tips and tricks that can help you. So let's get straight in. Okay, so first of all, we're going to talk about what you can expect. So for everyone, it's really different. Here in the UK, there are kind of two pathways to having your surgery. So there's the NHS, there's private. Now, I am incredibly lucky and incredibly blessed to have private medical insurance, which is a huge blessing, and I can't tell you how lucky I am to have that. Some companies that you work with can offer that as well. It just depends really, and you can take it out yourself as well, of course. Now, neither, I would say, I've experienced both. I wouldn't say that like one's incredibly better than the other. It kind of depends what you get. The pros to having private health insurance and going to a private hospital to have it done is that you usually get a side room. Having a side room is great because obviously you're not disturbed that much. You have your privacy, you can have somebody waiting there when you come around from surgery and things like that. But really, you're only going to be in one night, potentially. Sometimes it's usually a day job anyway, so it doesn't really matter. So I'm going to be speaking from my experience, which obviously was private, so I did have a side room. So essentially, you get up, you go to the hospital, you don't wear any makeup, no nail varnish. This was mentioned a little bit in my pre-op prep, but you don't wear any nail varnish, no makeup, no fake tan, no jewellery, things like that. Leave that all at home. You turn up, usually if you're on the morning list, you turn up quite early. I think it's about 6-7 o'clock. You don't eat anything, you have sips of water up until a certain time. Don't usually know where you are on the list. It's kind of a gamble really, so you could be going in at 12 o'clock, kind of last on the morning list. Also, it depends how long the other people's operations have taken as well. Usually what will happen is your surgeon will come around and see you, check that you're okay with everything, sign some forms, and then your anaesthetist will come and see you and do the same as well. And you'll start getting prepped for surgery. So you'll get into your gown, wear your paper knickers, love the paper knickers, put your surgical stockings on, all that kind of stuff. My number one tip, when you see the surgeon, be your own advocate, be somebody that, you're informed. Knowledge is power. That's a massive thing. So don't feel afraid to ask questions, and don't feel afraid to turn around and say, after the operation, please can you come and see me and tell me what you found? Because for a lot of people, if it's a diagnostic operation, you are desperate. I mean, everybody is desperate to know whether you have endometriosis or not. And that agonising wait after the operation is horrible. Seeing these scars and not knowing whether they've taken some out, what they've done, if they put a coil in, all these different things. You've got lots of questions and nurses can't answer them and won't answer them. Trust me, I've tried. I've tried bribing them with custard creams. It doesn't work. So just politely say to your surgeon, look, as soon as you're done or when you're done for the day, could you just pop in and let me know what happened? And I'm sure they wouldn't mind. Mine certainly didn't. He knew how anxious I was to know. It's kind of a courtesy thing, and really it's your body. You've just been under surgery, so you have every right to know what they've found, what they've done, all of that kind of stuff. Now, obviously, this won't be a detailed conversation. You will probably be a bit out of it, but it will just be a yes, you have it, no, you don't, or whatever it might be. Yes, you remove some, blah, blah, blah. Your detailed conversation will come 4 weeks after your post-op appointment, but at least you'll have an idea and you can put your mind at ease and you can go home happy. What I did is I had that conversation with my amazing surgeon the second time round, obviously not the first, and just said, look, given what's happened with my history being misdiagnosed before, I'd really appreciate being told as soon as possible that it definitely is, blah, blah, blah. Now, when I went down for surgery the second time, it's very different to the first. So quick backstory, the first surgery I had to diagnose endometriosis, they said they didn't find anything and I was only under for 25 minutes. I definitely felt that. I literally felt like I just had a quick 5-minute nap. I didn't even feel like I'd been under, to be quite honest with you. This time around, when I woke up after surgery, I definitely knew, it's weird, I mean, people might say this is a load of rubbish, but I definitely knew I'd been under for a lot longer. I felt very groggy, very sore, but that was, I had been under a lot longer. So I was on the morning list, so I think I arrived about 7 a.m, 7:30, but I didn't get taken down until late morning. I don't think I came out until about 4 o'clock. I was hours actually, because they had to remove quite a lot. So when I woke up, I kind of knew, okay, well, something's happened. But of course, it's still that unknown, and I was a bit kind of high as a kite on drugs. And I remember pulling up my bedding, and I remember looking and seeing this pad in between my legs with lots of blood, sorry, TMI. And I was in a lot of pain, I was all really over the place, and I remember just going, have you taken my appendix out? Because I was desperate to have my appendix out, because the amount of times I've gone into hospital where they thought I've had appendicitis, but it's like a right ovarian problem. And he didn't take it out, and I was gutted. But yeah, they didn't take it out, but I just kept screaming, have you taken my appendix out? So you're a bit all over the place. And then they take you up from recovery, up to your room or your ward, and kind of settle you there. They want you to eat quite quickly. This is something, so privately you can do a menu. I don't know if it's the same on the NHS, but you can do a menu. I ordered a tuna sandwich. What was I thinking? And some ice cream. Of course, when I got back up to my room, I felt so incredibly sick, I nearly threw it up everywhere. So maybe order something quite light. Now, some people stay in overnight. I did. I think because mine was quite long, I didn't get out till quite late. I think that was the only reason. I don't really remember why I was kept in overnight, but I was. But a lot of people go home the same day. I know my first stop, I obviously went home the same day. They make sure a couple of things before you go. So they check that you've eaten, and they check that you peed. So, peeing is a task after surgery. Yeah, you got to think of Niagara Falls. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's the best I can give you. I had the like tap on trick, like thinking of like a waterfall. It didn't happen for quite a while, but when it does, it does. It's a bit weird. This sensation's very strange, but you get there. What I would massively advise is a pillow. So you want to, when you're strapped into the car, because I presume that's how you're getting home, you strap into the car and you put a pillow on top of your stomach, just holding that, going over any speed bumps, potholes. It's not going to be nice, so just grab onto that pillow for dear life. I don't even know if it's actually a physical thing, but it's just a really helpful thing for me. I find it just gives that support there. That's really the surgical experience and what happens from my experience. Another great tip as well is just before you go into surgery, when you have that conversation with your surgeon, make sure you ask them to take pictures. This is so important. I cannot stress it enough. My first surgery, I didn't even realise they took pictures, but they did. Thank God they did, because she gave me them, like literally 2 hours after surgery, she gave them to me, and she was like, look, you've got a sparkling clean uterus. And then 2 years later, when I took those pictures to my current surgeon, who's a specialist, he went, well, there's endometriosis and there's endometriosis. Like, if I hadn't had that evidence, I don't know if I would have been able to get that second surgery. So please, please, please push for photos. It's so important. Even if you're just going in to have some excision done, just get those photos. It's so important. So a couple of things you're going to need for recovery. So the hospital sends you home with quite a few bits, which I've mentioned in my other video. But one thing that they will send you home with is your stockings. These are so fashionable and delightful, as you can see. These are really important. So you want to be up and moving and walking around, because that's really important to avoid blood clots, DVTs, things like that. So you just want to try and get moving as much as you can. But when you're laying down in bed, wear these. So these are to help stop blood clots. They're not the most comfortable things in the world, but they're really, really important. I actually as well, 5 weeks after my surgery, flew to Chicago, because I'm bougie like that. No, it was like a planned holiday and I wasn't going to miss it. I flew to Chicago and I wore these the entire flight. Even though it was 5 weeks later, I just didn't want to take any chances, and that was a recommendation from my surgeon as well. So definitely keep these and keep wearing them, especially when you're laying down. Peppermint tea. Other brands are available. Peppermint tea is so important. So what they do is when you're in surgery, they fill up your stomach with air so that they can see all your organs and get in and do whatever they need to do, and then they deflate you. There's probably a way more technical term to this, but we'll go with deflate. They deflate your stomach, but of course there's always going to be bits of trapped air in there. So what happens is that pushes against the diaphragm here, and you get referred shoulder tip pain. So it can kind of go down your back, down your arm, but it mainly stays there. This is the most painful part of surgery, in my opinion. The excision sites didn't hurt, my stomach didn't hurt. I was on quite strong painkillers for that, But this drove me mad. Horrible, it's really painful. People don't realise how painful it is. Now the best thing you can do for it is to drink loads of peppermint tea. So keep that going for a couple of days. Peppermint tea is also fantastic for bloating, which you will be quite swollen and bloated anyway, but it might just help a little bit. So there's nothing wrong with it, give it a go. Another thing that helps the shoulder tip pain is massaging it. So try and get somebody to massage your back, keep it moving, get everything moving, get those bubbles out if you can. And just moving your shoulder really. Heat is also a good idea. You can pop some heat on there, that helps. A pretty horrible part of surgery. It's, yeah, rubbish. So again, this was mentioned in my last video. Seems pretty obvious, but pads. So you are going to want to have a good supply of sanitary towels, pads, whatever you want to call them, whatever you need, just because it's quite likely that you will get some bleeding. These are getting very close to my face. Staying on top of pain management is so important. I can't stress this enough. Trust me, it will creep up on you. If you miss even one dose, I'm telling you now, you're going to feel it. Keep on top of it. Depends what you're on. Paracetamol does a really good trick, so does ibuprofen. Write everything down as well, because you can go a little bit loopy. Write it all down on a piece of paper. You don't want to accidentally overdose when you've just come out of surgery. So please write it all down, have a little calendar, because obviously there is only so many that you can take in a 24-hour period. Get yourself a water bottle. I have a Love Island water bottle. I love them because they have an amazing straw, so you don't have to struggle to get out of bed because it's quite sore having to lift yourself up to get a cup. They're nice and easy. They're on offer at the moment. And also a good moisturiser. So again, you can use any moisturiser. This is my favourite brand. So treat yourself to that. You deserve to feel really nice and pampered after you've gone through a surgery. Is hot water bottles. So you've got a classic hot water bottle. Can you tell I like grey and white and black? So you've got a classic hot water bottle here, which has still got water in it, so it's actually quite heavy. And then we've got this. This is a long water bottle. And I love this, to run down your back, to put on your shoulder. Sounds really dodgy, but to put between your legs. I think you girls know what I mean. It's not dodgy, but you know what I mean. I will try and link it if I can. I think they're on Amazon. Just type in long hot water bottle. But yeah, try and use these. Obviously straight after surgery, not a great idea if you've got like fresh incisions. But after, when you're recovering, they're great. They're really comforting, really good for lower back as well. Okay, so now for bedtime. So if you're spending all day in bed recovering and not on the sofa, which I would actually encourage trying to get up and going on the sofa and then going on the bed. So something that you can do is pull back the bed sheets and spray this. So this is the This Works Deep Sleep Pillow Spray. Hopefully you can see it. You spray it on your pillow, spray it on your duvet, everywhere you want to do it. And essentially it just helps you sleep deeper and better. Also makes it smell amazing. Now it is a bit on the pricey side, but I swear it's worth it. Now another thing I would suggest is a book. Get into a really good book, but maybe pick something light. So I am currently reading the Emily Atack, Are We There Yet? I highly recommend this book. It's really light and girly. I mean, I don't know what you're into book-wise, but just try and pick something nice and light. I think after surgery, you've gone through a massive ordeal. Don't punish yourself by reading about a mass murderer that doesn't go to prison. So lastly, I'm just going to talk about mentally and physically recovering. So all those tips and tricks aside, there is something definitely called the post-anaesthetic blues. Now I don't know, don't quote me on that, it's probably not a real thing, but I came out of surgery and I felt great. I was like, I feel amazing. I instantly got pain relief actually from my back, which was really lucky. And I was like, they found it, I feel validated, I feel empowered, I feel great. And then, so I had my surgery on the Monday, and then by Friday I was like, oh my gosh, I hate everyone. I was crying non-stop for no reason, just crying, feeling really down, feeling really ugly and bloated, and it hit me like a ton of bricks. I've heard this from a lot of people that have had not just laparoscopy surgeries, but any surgery, that they kind of get that like 5 days a week after. And it hits you out of nowhere. So please make sure you've got somebody that you're talking to, whether that's your mum, your dad, your boyfriend, girlfriend, family member, whoever it might be, friend. just make sure you're talking to someone, because it's really important to keep that conversation and have that support system there, because it really does. It's a hard thing that you're going through. You're being diagnosed with an incurable disease. Let's just put it lightly. And it's a hard thing to process. And even if you haven't been diagnosed, I've been there too. That's even harder, because you're no further forward in your journey of getting a diagnosis of whatever that may be. Just make sure you keep talking, it's really important. Physically, don't rush. I'm self-employed, so going off sick is a massive financial hit for me. If I don't work, I don't get paid. So I have to kind of prepare this surgery and know that I'm going to potentially have 2-3 weeks of no pay. And I got offered some work on the Saturday, and I just thought, oh, it's only 4 hours of teaching, like I'll take it. Shouldn't have been there, shouldn't have done it. All my friends and family told me I was mad. I was very stubborn and said I need the money. My mum drove me in and I did it somehow. But don't rush, because you're just going to put your recovery further back. Don't go back to the gym too early. Start with small walks, just rest, enjoy the time, let your body heal. It's so important. Just be kind to yourself. It's a time where you need to be kind to yourself. Surround yourself with friends and family. I was so blessed both times, but more so the second time with my friends and family. They were so kind. They bought me the most amazing funny gifts and cards and survival kits and stuff like that, and a lot of them called and came round to the house. Obviously, if you're having this operation during this time with COVID-19 happening, my heart absolutely goes out to you. I just can't imagine it, and you know, it must be so hard, especially considering as well you can't have people over. Remember that technology is an amazing thing. Keep talking to people. My DMs are always open. Please message me if you're struggling. I've been there, I know what you're going through. Really just make sure you're surrounding yourself with positive, kind people that have a really good listening ear as well, because sometimes all you want to do is rant. And that's okay. You can react however you want to react. So yeah, those are my tips. I again have probably missed out a few. If I have, do comment below any that I've missed out, or anything that works for you after surgery. Everyone's experience is so different, but these are just a couple of things that I picked up on the way. And like I said, I have got, if you haven't watched it already, I have got a pre-surgery shopping list and preparing tips. I hope that this has been helpful. Let me know if you want to see some more videos. And yeah, have a lovely day. Lots of love. Bye.